And obviously, the real big contest in the room is actually China and the US, right? And while I've been in Washington, a month ago, I was in, 2 months ago, I was in Beijing a month ago. Actually, let me let you in on not really a secret, but the Chinese are in a confident mood. Why? Because number one, you say, look, this trade tensions just turbocharges our efforts at self-reliance. It is a spur to our people that you can't be complacent, you can't take the world for granted, and we need to speed up this journey for self-reliance. So making virtue out of a necessity. Number two, and I think that's become clear even to the US now, China has leverage. Take rare earths, critical minerals, for instance. So it's not as if your counterparty has no agency. And third, China has a much higher threshold for pain than others. And whatever the criticisms you may have on political systems, China has a system which is capable of a long-term outlook. So it's in a state of confidence. Now, that does not mean that China actually wants to wreck the global trading system, because I mentioned Singapore as a beneficiary of Pax Americana and the other Asian tigers, but actually the biggest beneficiary of the last 80 years has been China, especially after reform and opening. So China is not a revanchist power from an economic perspective. So they would still much prefer a modus vivendi with America, and that does require respectful, candid, constructive conversation in the room. I don't think China sees it as a chicken game. I think their posture right now has been to stand firm. Right? As I said earlier, they have a high threshold for pain, they have a longer-term perspective, they have leverage. Right? But at the same time, they would still much prefer the system continues with appropriate reform. Right? So they're still holding out. And it's not just China. Frankly, the rest of the world still holds out hope that a reformed global architecture, politically and economically, will emerge.